Hello and welcome to the Last Rupee podcast, where we talk about games, Twitch, and anything else gaming. I am your host, Battle Forever, and today we're going to be here with Yamuru, if I said that correctly.
It's Yamuri.
Yamuri. Anyway, so I know you told me, but tell us the story of how you got your name.
All right. So I figured Yam would be a good one, and picked Yamuri as the character name. But we played it for Dragon Ball, and all of the characters that are a particular race of the Saiyans, they were all named after vegetables.
Oh,
So
how exciting!
So not like a huge backstory on the name. It was just something fun to play with.
Nice. And you had that name since high school?
Yeah. So about 12 years ago. Oh man, so long ago.
It's just like yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get on with the question. So what got you into gaming?
All right. So when I was really young, probably 2, 3 years old, we had an NES system, and I played Mario a little bit, but never really got into it. I was way too young. I liked going outside, climbing trees, doing all kinds of different things that degenerates would really do. So I love doing that. And I didn't really get into gaming until about midway through the SNES
Okay.
life. Played a little bit of Mortal Kombat, and then moved on to RPGs. That's a pretty big chain.
Ooh,
So
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat to Mario RPG. So that was fun, and learning RPGs was a blast, but I made a huge mistake by picking up Chrono Trigger too young and could not figure it out. Died every time I started the game. But it was the challenge that kept me on it. So every time I died, I was like, how do I figure out how to pass this? And my problem was I kept heading to the last boss right away. So different route, I guess. Just playing around with the game let me know that it's a lot different from what I grew up playing.
Oh, okay.
So, later on, I wound up getting a 64. I was pretty proud of myself because I was saving money for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mowing lawns, doing chores, just little things here and there. Saved up money, got a 64, and played Super Mario. I was limited on the time that I could actually play it. Because my parents only wanted me to play like an hour a day just on weekends. So I only had like 2 hours a week to play video games, and got as much gaming in there as I could. So pretty much Mario 64 was my life at that point.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I loved it. Oh, it looked amazing when it first came out. I was kind of like beside myself on the first level. And then I got the Game Boy, and that's when I pretty much became obsessed with gaming because I got Pokemon Red and Blue.
Ah, the classics. Yeah,
Right?
I played those to death.
I plugged that sucker in because I couldn't afford to keep paying for batteries. And those cables were so short, I would have to lay on the ground right next to the freaking plug and just play away. But that was the first time I actually thought about like staying up at night, not actually going to bed at the right times. And I mean, as a result, I got 150. But
Nice.
no, I can't do that anymore.
I can't stay up 24 hours a day to grind.
Nope.
So, your first RPG, was it Super Mario RPG?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, such a good one.
Right? I mean, the story was great. I mean, I was familiar with the main characters and introduced new characters. And the thing that really sucked me in was like it was turn-based. You get to think about what you want to do, but there was also timed attacks. So
Mm-hmm.
you had full control over, well, I mean, not really full control, but you had pretty good control over your character in comparison to the other RPGs that I've seen.
Yeah, I'm kind of like sad that because they rumored like for a long time that they had the second one in productions, it became like Paper Mario all of a sudden for some reason.
Yeah, it took a little change. I really liked the first Paper Mario
Yeah,
because it was just a new play aspect to it. But as it went on, it kind of like took a change that I wasn't so familiar with, so I stopped playing it towards the second one.
makes sense. Like the Thousand Year Door was like, okay in my opinion, and the rest of them I don't even remember. They got Origami because I thought it seemed similar to the ones that from '64, but it's still not where it should be in my opinion. But like, it's fun. I haven't even beat it yet. It's another game I forgot I had. It's like, oh, that's right, I do have that game. I have to go back and finish it.
I have been debating on getting that because it does look like a lot of fun to go back and play a game like that. Just the nostalgia hit that I need.
It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as Paper Mario 64. It's just like iconic games. It feels the same, but it just I don't know. It I lost interest in it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you play with it a little bit as a developer and you change just a little bit too much, it kind of stops feeling familiar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that not Paper Mario, but Mario RPG was actually uh, top 10 games for me. It's it's one that I would probably be able to replay a few times.
Oh yeah, for sure. It had a good story, it had good characters. It's just like it was all around like a good game. Like I can't see like anything wrong with it. And SquareSoft did a great job with Nintendo with that game. It just everything was just really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever you know when you have to save Toad? Did you ever get the sequence where he hits you with the hammer because you didn't want to save him at all?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
It's been so long.
Yeah. It's so funny 'cause I try to mention it to other people who've played it. It's like, I never knew that can happen. So if you don't save Toad, like don't like try to assist him in any way, when you go for the hammer, it's like, oh look, a hammer, and he hits you with it. For it's like this is for not saving me. It was so funny. Like, wow, that's rude.
Toad doing Toad things.
Yeah. All right. What a nice adventure you're having.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to the next question. So what got you into streaming?
Okay, so streaming was not really on my radar too much. When I first found out about streaming, it was mostly because I wanted to go check out a game, see what a game was like before I bought it. And then I ran into a streamer for Diablo 3,
Ooh.
and it was a streamer that was based on helping people recover after their hardcore characters die. Back when the game came out and the monsters were pretty broken,
Yeah.
there would be times where you just die out of whatever, like some glitch happened or something would jump at you and you would die like before they even got to you. And you could trade items at that point. So what we would do as a community is everything that we funneled to this streamer, he would go in and he was pretty good at figuring out what's actually worth the cost, and he would buy different things and help people out, get a couple items and get them started over again so they can continue with their hardcore characters.
Oh, nice.
And that was one of the things that intrigued me so much about streaming, was that you could have an influence and it would be a positive influence for the communities. And And that's when I first started about streaming. When I actually decided to stream was when I was playing World of Warcraft, and I had another friend in my guild. He wanted to do a podcast. So we started doing a podcast, and that's when I started jumping on Twitch, and I would play it over Twitch, and they would record it on YouTube. So it was just like a really good time for me to jump in on Twitch. Later, I decided to start streaming World of Warcraft, and realized that wasn't the best of ideas because you're not going to really get any views or anything, and people just generally aren't interested in watching MMOs. It's just a hard niche to get into. So I decided to be more of a variety streamer after that. I picked up a couple other games, tried to play some old games, and nothing quite hit right. And then about 2 years ago, Satisfactory came out, and that's when I started streaming that, and I started getting a couple more views. I had one person that I watched, and he would stream a variety of games also, but he was very high energy. Extremely high energy, screaming all the time. Anything that happened, he would just put full energy into it. And I was rated by him, and if you know me, I am like very low key.
Not true.
Into things because I have neighbors that get pretty frustrated with any noise.
Tell them it's daylight, and I'm allowed to scream if I want to.
Yeah, I've tried. One's a nurse that works night shifts, so I can't really do all that. But
just turn out the music, a couple of bass, put them outside. Anyway.
Yeah. So he rated me with about 120 people, and I was freaking out.
Wow, 120 people? That's amazing.
Yeah. I literally had to stop doing with what I was doing. I had to breathe for a second and then get back into it. But it was a panic at the time. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. That one single stream got me affiliate, and that was April 2019.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was pretty close, but that was what set me over pretty far. But a lot of people viewing, it helps with the anxiety. Like, if I had that a little bit more often, it would help. But as far as it goes, I like the smaller streams, and it's more comforting the way that I stream rather than having to cater to that kind of crowd.
Masses, just 100 people watching you.
Well, it's just, I don't know.
You're just on stage, like, okay, go.
Spotlight gets a little bright. Everything's getting a little hotter up here.
It's like, let me tell a joke.
So that's when I got affiliate, and I decided that I would try a little bit more. I was getting a little discouraged at the time. The raid helped a little bit kind of visualize where I could be as far as that, because I was like, oh man, I wish I could raid somebody like that, because that would be amazing. But thinking about actually having those types of crowds like that, not like the type of crowd, but the mass amount, is just kind of like overwhelming to me. So kind of wouldn't strive for that kind of number, but I'm weary of actually getting any higher than what I am. one of the things that I did start streaming for was because I had a time of going through depression and anxiety.
Oh.
Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to like talk to very many people. Online was pretty much my outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So streaming was part of getting over that as well. So after that raid, after about 7-8 more streams, I decided to take a break. So I didn't stream for about 4 or 5 months, and then I started streaming like once every other week. It was a struggle to hit the go live button. I stopped streaming a little while ago too. Took about a 2-month break.
Oh yeah.
Jumped back into it, and I think that I'm doing a little better with it.
Yeah, from what I've seen, like it seems really fun. There's a lot of people in there. The games you play are really interesting. I'm tempted not to watch because I do want to play that one day, but I have so much of a backlog, so I'll probably forget anyway. So might as well.
Oh, it's so tempting to fill out that backlog. Like you look at the list of games that are out right now, and it's just, do I have time for this really? But I really want to play it.
I know, right? Horrible. Like, oh, Steam sale. No. And Harvey's like, oh, the games have 50% off. Like, oh, after this podcast, I'm gonna go take a look to see what's there.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Kingdom Hearts went on sale, and Gisi's like, yeah, you got to play this. I'm like, oh no, another one.
Everyone has to play Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Like everybody
played enough for everyone though, so I just don't. I guess I want to stream Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't think me grinding to the Ultimate Weapon is very interesting, so I just don't. I'll probably do off stream.
Well, it's for me, I don't mind watching grinding because that's kind of like a less talk, like the just chatting kind of thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, as long as there's a little conversation going back and forth, it's pretty interesting to just sit back and talk.
That's true.
So I haven't played any of the Kingdom Hearts though, so I don't know what's going on.
Not one. Okay, you have to play the first one then, because if you jump into 3 or the other ones, well, Birth by Sleep is before everything, so it makes somewhat sense. So that's not too bad. But yeah, if you're really gonna play the main series, you can start Kingdom Hearts 1 just to get what's going on, and then the story gets kind of confusing as you go along. But hey,
Yeah, I heard it. Like, if I play through it, I won't understand the story at all.
No, oh, who are these people? Why am I searching for this? Why is this? What is that? What's a Keyblade? And it'll answer so many of your questions. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to just fall down that hole too.
It's fun.
I did get the. You go ahead.
No, it's Squaresoft making the game. It really kept to its core until Kingdom Hearts 2, and then they didn't make it for another 20 years. So, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 is fun, but I think it could have been a little better. But that's just me being nitpicky, because yeah.
Yeah, with a break that long, sometimes it's hard to get back to the core of what the game is.
Well, they lose their writers and different developers. They leave the company and they merge, so it kind of I don't know. Even with the Final Fantasy series, it doesn't have the extra, I guess, lack of words, pizzazz with it. They're 10 was great. If you ever played Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah.
That was the last SquareSoft Final Fantasy game, and then they merged with Enix, and then became Square Enix. I don't know who Enix was. I think it was just some Japanese thing. But they merged, and then because 12 I need to finish still. It's on the backlog. I'm at 80% done at the grind. It's gonna take a while. I finally finished 13, but the stories after that is kind of lacking. 15 was fun though. I didn't really like 15 really as much, but as I got into it more, it's actually a really good story. There were some things that were missed, but overall the game was actually really fun. It's super long too. It's 80 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, they really had to hit the ground running with it, and they got better as they went along.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that they have a lot of the rights of the old games, because they did a Final Fantasy VII remake that people seem to love. I'm waiting for that Chrono Trigger remake.
I know, right? It's just, I don't know. And then they made DLC for Final Fantasy 15. I'm like, okay. And then Final Fantasy, what, 16 is coming out. It looks really good. I don't feel like buying a PlayStation 5 to buy it. But I hear
It might come out on PC later.
that's true. But then I hear there's a rumor that they might be making Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation 5. And if they do that, I have to get it, because Final Fantasy Tactics is like one of my top favorite like games to play over and over again.
Yeah. I haven't really gotten into that many styles like that. I do call them tactics games because the first actual game like that I've played was Final Fantasy Tactics on the Game Boy. But I kind of stayed away from that genre until Fire Emblem. When Three Houses came out, I jumped right back into that.
I still need to play those games, because everyone's like, "Oh, you should really play the Fire Emblem." The ones that I was thinking about game like for the 3DS, it had the 3 games, and the only way you can unlock the 3rd game, so you have to beat the first 2 or something. Like super complicated. It seemed really fun though to do.
Oh yeah, they always had like those little Easter eggs in the Fire Emblem.
Nice. All right, we'll go on to the next question now. So, where do you want your community to go, or like what goal do you wish to achieve with Twitch?
I don't really have a direction for my community. I'd like to keep it around the size that it is. I mean, I wouldn't really argue if it blew up, but as far as my streaming goes, it was mostly for me to try to get over my anxiety issues. So having people there in my channel is just one of the things that helps me out personally. And it lets me talk to people and get closer with people. And it's definitely something that I should be keeping kind of at arm's length at times. But people in this community, in your community, in Gigi's community, and Harvey's community, everybody, they're just like so nice that it's hard to do that.
It is. Like, from my experience, like a lot of communities are really different, and like they don't go as far as like, oh, you watch a stream, chat in their channel, and that's it. With our community, we're all super friendly. We all like play games together. We all chat, and like we're all just like, everywhere. Like everywhere. It's really funny how our community like just worked out, because it was just. I started off with Gigi, and like it just like one day it was like watching like, oh, someone's playing Kingdom Hearts, and then I just watched her play. I was like, oh, because she was like I think she just got her PlayStation 5, or like she was playing on PlayStation 4 or something like that, and she was playing, and it's like, yeah, no one will really watch me, and like look where she is now. It's like almost 6. This is in November. She was at 33. I tell the story all the time. But like she was at 33 followers. Now she's like 500 or 600 now, and like her like channel has like grown. It's insane.
It's so nice to see that too, because with the friendly community, like there hasn't really been anybody toxic joining. It's all been just
great
positivity.
People. Like Bunzi came around, and there's Emmy, and there's more. Then you came around, just like this like wholesome like community group. It's really cool, because wherever you go, like there's someone you know, and everyone's just like having a good time and laughing, which is really cool to find.
Yeah, I love it so much. It's just I won't be able to peel myself away from that. It's with everybody that I've met on Twitch, it's just been a journey. And just because like how wholesome everybody is, it's not going to be an easy thing to ever walk away from Twitch.
That is true. Because at one point, I like almost gave up on it. Like, I went as far as like trying to like delete my like channel, and I waited a week, and then something happened. It's like, I guess I'm just gonna keep it for now. I don't know what happened. Because when you deactivate, delete your Twitch, you have to wait like 3 days. I waited a week, and it was still there. And I was like, okay, let's just, I guess, keep it and see where it goes from here.
Well, we're pretty fortunate that they missed that one.
I know, right? Like, wow. it's working out. Amazing. It's funny how like turns in life like change your whole trajectory. It's really funny. But no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool goal to have. Just like, keep it simple, have a like good community, just have fun with it. Which I try to do with mine. Like I just want everyone, basically when I stream, I want everyone to have a good time, have fun, play games together, just have, a cool group to play games with.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I wouldn't really complain if it blew up eventually, but I don't think I'd be mentally prepared for that. I do think, however, like everybody kind of wishes a little bit that they could make a career out of it because it's just fun. It's just a fun thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
To talk to people and to play video games.
And get paid for it?
So,
what is that nonsense?
Right? It doesn't make sense in the world anymore.
Yeah. But it seems like what everyone has to do now. Like everyone has to, like, not just Twitch in general, you have to pretty much start your own business or like use your talents and traits like to make a career now, because the career stuff just don't work anymore. You have to think like outside of the box, like because it's 9 to 5, and then you have to think about, okay, well 9 to 5 is not working anymore, so what's the next step?
Yeah. So it's kind of more of a hobby, I think, for the majority of people. For me, it's something to kind of better myself and now be a little bit more social. So especially when we're crawling out of the COVID era.
COVID era is such a weird time. Let me tell you. Anyway, it's almost over. 2022, we're almost there.
Right.
Anyway.
It's time to recover.
Yep. Time to go back to whatever normal is now. Anyway.
So with that happening, it's going to be a time where a lot of people are stepping away from Twitch.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a kind of a hard thing to go through. But I see it as a positive change. People getting back to their lives. And the stream is, I don't think, going to be hurt by that, really. People that are watching are still going to watch, but I think people that are streaming are kind of going to slow down a little bit.
Well, yeah, because everyone has to go back to work and life and everything else. Because when people actually start going back to the offices, people have less time to not work at home. Which is really interesting, because if companies can actually have you work at home, they would save money on office space. So I'm wondering if this could be like a hybrid, like, oh, there's going to be half that work at home, half that come into the office, or vice versa, switch off or something like that. That's like a business move.
Yeah, that would be a positive change for the future. I know people are fighting to have their companies go back together, but as far as software remoting, if you can do it, I'd say save your money, try to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the questions I have. You have any questions for me?
I would like to know, what have you been using to like decide what your backlog, what kind of games that you're coming up and playing?
Like from my
How do you decide?
How do I decide? Well, I think about. Well, I'm all about like time, like making sure like I use my time wisely, like how much time I have in it per day. It's like, okay, so like Final Fantasy 13, I've had a backlog for like almost 2 years because I just like I get to a point and then I have to grind. Twitch came along, Twitch fam, and all those games to play. It's like, okay. And with the world changing, like what can I get done with the amount of time I have before the world gets back to normal? And when the Twitch fam wants to play games, I try to find a happy medium of what game I will enjoy to play and finish. And 13 was like 80% done. So I'm trying to complete games that I'm halfway or like most of the way done, get those done first before I like buy a new game.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to go through your list and say, okay, well, I can beat this one in like 2 streams. Well, right now is about the time where I'd want that, or like when do you start like the long ones?
Because like League, Final Fantasy, like Smash and Mario Kart, like those games will always be like playable. There's no beating those because you're playing with your community and your friends and things like that. It's like, okay. Because
You can always pick those up.
Yeah, yesterday, we played all day yesterday, like from like dawn to dusk. Like for me, 8 hours. Like just like we played everything under the sun.
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about like the party games and having the community is pick those games up, and then you're not going to really have a shortage of players.
Nah. So yeah, that's how I decide. Like, what have I almost beaten? I need to beat, and then there's like games I really need to want to get. Like Chrono Cross, I still need to beat, and I have to buy that. Hopefully, they'll have it on the Switch soon, so I can buy it and beat that game. And then I have Final Fantasy 12, but that's on my original PlayStation 2, and I don't want to buy the remake, even though they say the remake is a little better. But I'm like 80% done with that one, so I'm gonna try and work on that later on.
It's funny because I was just talking about Chrono Cross, and the reason that I wound up dropping that game was because I had such high expectations after Chrono Trigger. Because Chrono Trigger was my like, it's my number one game. If I had to say that there's a game out there that I just love and would be down to play it over and over, Chrono Trigger is my game. So it makes it really hard to play anything that would be considered a sequel to it.
That's true. I have never played that game. Seen it. I plan to play it someday. I think I have it cause I have the SNES Mini. I think it's on there. So I'll probably tackle that someday.
Yeah, it's a very dated game. So it's gonna be one of those ones you gotta get into it first and then see where it goes from there.
Sure. Looks fun though. But is it a true sequel though, Chrono Cross? Or they're completely different, aren't they? They're just like the same style, right? It's like the Final Fantasies, right?
It's kind of like the Final Fantasies. There is a line drawn from one to the other, but the story pretty much has nothing to do with it.
Okay. I just like to know because I like to go in order most of the time.
Yeah.
Except for
there's
Oh, go ahead.
There's like a mention of it a few times, and you'll see like the character pop up or something here and there. But that's like as far as the story goes. If you have an order for it, there's no problem in playing Chrono Cross first.
Nice. Okay then. Alright, Ian. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, thank you for watching everybody, and we'll catch you in the next episode. We'll see you later.